In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club.
Now everybody already knows Katt Williams has been putting Hollywood on blast, airing out secrets people tried to keep buried. And one name he keeps circling back to? Kevin Hart. This all traces back to when Kevin went at Katt years ago, calling him out for letting addiction mess up his career and saying he kept blaming everyone else instead of owning his mistakes. But now it looks like Katt is done staying quiet and finally firing back in a big way after sitting down for
is
that
all
explosive
catching hell in
interview with Shannon
2024.
Sharpe.
It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
During that interview, Katt didn't hold back at all. He came straight for Kevin, accusing him of trading his integrity just to climb the fame ladder. He even claimed Kevin was pushed into what he described as a humiliation ritual, saying he had to play roles that crossed personal lines just to stay on top. And this isn't even new behavior from Katt. He's been calling Kevin out for years, saying he's too hungry for power and willing to do anything to keep his spot. But this time felt different. Way more intense, way more direct, and packed with wild accusations that had people glued to every second. But Kevin isn't just sitting back letting all this slide. Word is, he's fed up with Katt constantly coming at him, and now he's ready to hit back hard, even planning legal action for defamation. This situation is already heating up fast, and the year barely got started. It's looking like a long road ahead for both of them. Especially after Katt really went in during that interview and didn't soften a single word. And if you somehow missed it, that interview had the whole internet going crazy. It ran for nearly 3 hours and people expected jokes, maybe some laughs. But Katt flipped the script completely. Instead of comedy, he came with heavy claims, calling out the industry and shaking things up in a major way. Now celebrities everywhere are scrambling, reacting, and trying to respond as the pressure keeps building. What really had people locked in was when Katt called Kevin out for being power-hungry, because this wasn't new at all. This moment hit hard since Katt has been throwing shade at Kevin for years, accusing him of chasing fame at any cost. And one of the biggest moments that sparked all this, that SNL skit where Kevin showed up dressed in a wig and outfit that had everyone talking. Back in the early 2000s, there was already chatter floating around about black male comedians being pushed into wearing dresses as some kind of unspoken step to make it big in Hollywood. That conversation blew up even more when Dave Chappelle sat down with Oprah in 2006 and dropped a story that had people stunned. Dave explained how producers on a movie set tried to pressure him into wearing a dress, even though he clearly didn't want to do it. And it didn't stop there. Dave said they were so serious about it that they had backup plans ready, just in case he didn't agree. That detail alone had people raising eyebrows and questioning what really goes on behind closed doors in the industry. The interview sent shockwaves, and suddenly other celebrities were getting asked to weigh in on what Dave had revealed. Of course, Kevin Hart ended up in the spotlight during all this. At first, he tried to brush it off with humor, but he still made it very clear that he wouldn't cross his own boundaries just for a role, and said he wouldn't wear a dress if it didn't sit right with him. That statement stuck with people, at least for a little while, because not long after that, Kevin popped up on SNL wearing a wig and outfit that instantly had fans side-eyeing him. Now, some people believe he was always open to doing that kind of role, and it wasn't a big deal to him personally. But others weren't buying it at all. They felt like he made that move to stay in good favor with powerful people in the industry and boost his career even higher. And here's the part that really got folks talking. Kevin was already doing well for himself, no doubt about that. But after that SNL appearance, his career seemed to level up fast, landing bigger roles and major opportunities. That sudden rise only added more fuel to the conversation and had people connecting dots. The backlash came in heavy, though, and Kevin had to address it directly online. He said, "I wore a dress on SNL because I thought it was funny. I made that decision. Nobody made it for me. I am my own boss." He stood firm on that, trying to shut down all the rumors in one move. When Katt was later asked about it, he didn't fully blame Kevin. Instead, he framed it as something bigger, saying Kevin was just part of a long pattern in Hollywood where certain choices come with pressure if you want to reach the next level. In his words, Kevin was doing what he felt he had to do to succeed. But the conversation didn't end there. There's been this ongoing theory floating around that Kevin was strategically pushed into the spotlight to replace Katt, and when that SNL moment happened, it only made those rumors louder. At the same time Kevin's career was skyrocketing, Katt's name started getting dragged through the mud with claims about his personal struggles, claims he later fired back at during a heated rant in 2016. After all that, Katt stepped away from social media for a minute, but when he came back in 2018, he came back loud. This time, he wasn't just calling out Kevin, he also went after Tiffany Haddish, accusing her of being power-hungry and claiming she was placed in the spotlight by the industry. That alone had people talking crazy, because Katt was clearly not holding anything back anymore. Even though Kevin's name didn't come up directly in that moment, he still took it personal. So when he and Tiffany showed up on the Breakfast Club, Kevin didn't waste time jumping in. He straight up called Katt a failure and said the reason Katt wasn't where he should be in his career was because he chose the wrong path instead of staying focused. Then he added fuel to it by throwing out accusations about Katt's personal struggles, making it even more intense. Katt was not about to let that slide. He quickly got on IG and fired back, calling Kevin out for spreading lies and trying to tear down his name. That back and forth had fans picking sides and watching every move because things were getting real messy, real fast. After that clash, Katt went quiet again for a while, until just a few days ago when he came back swinging harder than ever. This time, he accused Kevin of selling out for fame and power, claiming he made deals behind the scenes with powerful figures to boost his career. Katt made it clear he sees himself differently, saying he never accepted money or favors to stay silent about what goes on in the industry. Then, he brought up a moment from his own career that had people stunned. Katt said he turned down a scene in Friday After. Next, that he felt crossed a serious line because he didn't see anything funny about that kind of situation. According to him, that decision cost him big time, and he believes it led to him being pushed out of opportunities he was supposed to have. Katt went even further, claiming that roles he was lined up for ended up going to Kevin instead, saying Kevin was more willing to go along with what was asked without pushing back. That claim right there had the internet buzzing because it painted a picture of how different their approaches to Hollywood might have been. Now, Kevin hasn't come out with a direct response to all of these specific claims, but he hasn't exactly stayed quiet either. He threw some subtle shots during a live commentary at a New York Knicks versus Philadelphia game, making sarcastic jokes that many people felt were aimed straight at Katt. It wasn't a full response, but it was enough to show he's aware and not backing down. And behind the scenes, things might be getting even more serious. Reports are saying Kevin is considering legal action because this back and forth has been going on for years now, and it's starting to cross into territory he's not willing to ignore anymore. Of course, the internet had a lot to say about all of this. One person wrote, "I've actually always believed that Kevin Hart was a Katt Williams replacement. I think it happened when Katt started having issues, and then Kevin just popped up out of nowhere." Another added, "It's absolutely true. I remember Kevin Hart having a small role in Scary Movie 3, and then suddenly he was everywhere. I never understood it. I even tried watching his shows and didn't find it funny, so I was confused why he blew up like that." And the conversation didn't slow down at all after that. If anything, it got even louder. People all over social media started digging up old clips, interviews, and moments, trying to connect the dots and figure out what's really been going on behind the scenes. Some were backing Katt completely, saying he's been speaking on these patterns for years and people are only now starting to pay attention. Others, though, weren't convinced one bit. They argued that Katt might be going too far with these claims and dragging things into territory that could seriously damage reputations. For them, Kevin's success comes down to consistency, work ethic, and knowing how to play the game the right way, not anything secret or shady. Meanwhile, fans of both sides started going head-to-head online, turning this into a full-blown debate. Every clip, every quote, every past moment is now being reanalyzed like it holds some hidden meaning. And with Kevin possibly gearing up for legal action, people are watching closely to see if this situation is about to escalate even further. At the same time, there are still plenty of voices asking one big question. Why now? Why did Katt choose this moment to unload everything all at once? Some think there's more coming, and this might just be the beginning of a much bigger wave of claims that could shake things up even more. And honestly, this whole situation is still unfolding right in front of us. What started as a few comments has now turned into a full-blown back and forth that's got everybody watching closely. With Katt making bold claims and Kevin possibly gearing up to respond in a major way, this story feels far from over. The real question is, who's actually telling the truth here, and how far is this going to go? Because if things keep escalating like this, we might be looking at something way bigger than just words online. But I want to hear what you think. Do you believe what Katt is saying, or do you think Kevin is being unfairly targeted? Drop your thoughts in the comments and stay locked in, because if anything else drops, you already know we're breaking it down.